Hey everyone, it's Mike from Rogala Photography here. If you're a new photographer and you're out trying to find what gear you should get and all that, it could be a very, very overwhelming task. There's so many brands out there, and then you go and you ask in all the Facebook groups and whatever, and you get 20 different answers because everybody's got a favorite. And let me tell you, it could be, for a photographer, you're just starting out, everything's expensive. One thing a lot of photographers do is they shoot for the cheaper one, thinking, well, if I don't like it, I'll upgrade. Trying to save a buck. I get it. But there's an old saying in photography as well as in, technology in general. Buy once, cry once. So buy something decent. Don't just buy the cheapest that you can afford or the cheapest that you can find. Yes, your budget will be a factor. But if your budget is that low where you have to settle for something that is not quality, then you need to save more until you have enough money, then buy something that has some quality to it. It doesn't have to be at the top, but you don't want to buy something toward the bottom either. Stick to something in the middle, maybe up a little bit higher than that if you can. And I tell you, you won't regret it because the thing is, you're going to grow into it. Now, camera filters are one of those items that a lot of people try to cheap out on. They think, well, I'm not going to use it that much, or it's just a piece of glass. No, this is a piece of glass that is going to sit in front of your lens, which is the main piece of gear that'll give you a quality image. You can use different camera bodies, and still get a decent image. But if you use cheaper lenses, that glass the quality isn't as good. So what's going to happen is that you're going to be settling for something that's not good. So with filters, you want something quality. You definitely want something made out of glass, not a plastic. Believe it or not, there are some companies that make camera filters out of like a plastic or a resin. You want it out of glass, and you want it out of optical quality glass. Some big name brands out there that you may see: Polar Pro, Nisi, Freewell, K&F. Those are all brands that will get recommended all the time. I will tell you that Polar Pro and Nisi are toward the top. I have a couple Polar Pro filters. They're screw-on filters, not magnetic, but they're screw-on. Phenomenal. But they are kind of heavy and bulky, and they go around $250 a filter. $250, not $2.50. So that can get quite expensive if you go with Polar Pro. Nisi, they sell them in sets. They're a little cheaper than Polar Pro. Not by much. Again, the quality's pretty good. Okay, you really can't go wrong with them. Freewell and K&F, I'm going to do a video about Freewell. I had a major issue with Freewell, and I'm not going to go into it here. K&F, a lot of beginners start out with them. They're decent, but they do leave a color cast, and I'm going to kind of briefly talk about that in a minute. So they leave a color cast on your photos. But I've recently began working with a company called Maven Filters, and I tell you, I am really impressed by what they're doing and what they're putting out. Okay, disclaimer. I reached out to Maven Filters to request a review unit. They didn't reach out to me, I reached out to them. They were more than generous. You can see everything that they sent out to me here. In return, I'm doing a couple review videos for the filters. This one is an overview. They will not be seeing the video beforehand. They did not ask me to put anything except for technical stuff about the filters themselves, but they didn't ask me to say, hey, say this is a good filter or anything like that at all. My opinion are my own, and they're not going to review this video before I post it. Now, they may post the video on their website or on their YouTube channel, but That's going to be after I post it here. And the reason I'm really being picky about this is one of my last videos was our gear reviewer scammers. Okay. And you know, it's kind of funny because I got in contact with Maven after I recorded that video, and I'm thinking, oh great, here I am doing a review video now, and everybody's going to critique me on what I said in that video. And I don't forget, a lot of that video was tongue in cheek, but there was a lot of real stuff in there too. So, but again, I am going to be very transparent with everything. And I'll let you know if anything that I don't like about these filters and what I do like about them. These filters are made out of optical quality glass. The magnets, these are a magnetic set. So, which means that you get a adapter ring. You got to tell them what size adapter ring you need, and that screws on to your lens, and you get one for each one of your lenses for whatever size they are, and that stays there. Now all you got to do is take a filter and bam, right on there. All right. And I will say that they are pretty solid. All right. Like if I take, this is one of their lens caps, boom, I mean, you can see that. And if you're not careful, you're gonna pull the whatchamacallit, the filter off with it. All right. So what I usually do is kind of put a finger on it, and then I can pull it right off like that. Okay. I'm going to talk about these in a minute though. So the first thing most people probably would get is the standard set. That has 3 ND filters, different strengths, a CPL, which is a circular polarizer, and your lens cap. And I'm not sure if it might come with a UV. I don't have the UV filter. I don't use them. But it might come with a UV filter too. They call it a splash filter because it protects from water or stuff getting on your lenses. I talked about that in another video though, so I'm not going to get into that right now. So anyway, the other cool thing about these filters is that they are color coded, and then they have notches on them. So the color coding, I'm going to post right over here a screenshot of what some of the colors mean. And then I'll also post when I'm done about what the notches mean on there too. So red is used for recording. So a 3-stop filter is usually what a lot of videographers will use when they're recording a video. So that's a 3-stop, okay, red. And then it's got 3 notches on there. 3-stop, 3 notches, and it's red, recording. This one right here, I don't know why they chose pink for this one, but this is a 6-stop. 6-stop, and again, it's got 6, I don't know if you can see that or not on there, probably not because my ugly mug is in here, probably, yeah. So anyway, it's got 6 notches on there, all right? So that's a 6-stop. And then this one is orange for golden hour. You use this for long exposures, golden hour or sunshine. And it has 10 notches, which means it is a 10-stop filter. All right. Now, all these filters are stackable. So I have a 10-stop. Now I put 3 more on there. So now I have a 13-stop. You know, again, that comes in handy if you need to more of a longer exposure. It's really bright out and you need a longer exposure. Now they do make a 2-stop, a 4-stop, and then they also make a 15, I believe it's an 18 and or a 20. So you can really stretch it out here. They had no other company that I know of makes a 2-stop or a 3-stop unless it's on a variable ND filter. But I do it to find the magnetic ones with a 2-stop or a 4-stop. Not many have that. Now this also comes with a CPL, which is a circular polarizer. That's this one right here. Now this one is blue. All right, blue. Think of the sky. Polarizers are used to modify the sky. They also use for reflections too, to get rid of reflections. But they usually are used to darken the sky, like with a high dynamic range, get the sun shining or whatever, and you want to darken the sky a little bit. So that comes with the standard set as well. Now, the other thing that will come with your starter set or standard set is a lens cap. Now, if you notice, this one's a little bit different. This is their first generation lens cap. The other ones, they sell them separately. I'm not sure if they come with a standard set or if they, whatchamacallit, you have to buy them separate. I believe you got to buy them separate though. But this one definitely comes with it. And again, it goes right on your lens. It's magnetic, comes right off. But the cool thing about the first generation, the inside, it's gray and it's kind of like a velvet. Now the velvet, the cloth is there to kind of, just in case something were to bang into your front of it and dent it. It's got a little soft, won't scratch the elements on your lens. Okay, this is pretty sturdy. It's gonna take a lot to dent it, but you know, just in case. But it's a velvet. But what people don't realize is that's 18% gray. That 18% gray is what's used to white balance your videos and also your photos too. So let's just say you took a photo and you want to do JPEGs. All you do is hold this up, take a photo with it. You got your 18% gray. You don't need to use your gray card. You don't need to carry any of that with you. It's already built right in to your lens cap. All right. Now the second generation, I don't know why they didn't put that on there, but Maven, put them. Get that on here. That is what makes, one of the things that makes your filters unique is that 18% gray in there. So let's get them on there for the third generation. Okay. So anyway, that is your lens cap. Now I mentioned also an adapter ring. It's on here, screwed in. Do I have one over here handy? No, I do not. Actually, I do right here. Here's a 82 millimeter adapter ring. You know, again, for an 82 millimeter lens, you need to know the dimensions of your lenses. It'll say it right on the lens, also right on the back of the lens cap as well. They also make step-up rings, which is what I have over here on my 70 to 200, because my 70 to 200 is a 77 millimeter lens. So they have these step-up rings. Again, these are green. Okay, why they chose green, I don't know. But screw them on or out, you know, screw them on, make sure they're snug. And now this is a 77 to an 82. So now I can take my 82 3-stop and I can use them right on my 70 to 200. Okay, they make step down rings too. You can do them as well. Now they are also getting into, and I can't really demonstrate this right now because I don't have a 77 millimeter adapter ring, but these are threadless step up rings. So if I'm on here and I use all my filters are 77, but I happen to have a 82 I want to use, this would just magnetically stick on there like that. It's not straight right now because it's not the right size, but it'll stick right on there, and then I can use my 82s there. And when I'm done using my 82s, I can go back to my 77. So, you know, again, Maven, these guys are just, the reason I like them is that they are, number one, the quality, obviously, but the innovation. The innovation is just so different than the higher end. The higher end ones, they stick with the basics. They do them very well, but Maven has turned it up a notch there. So excellent job with those. Now, the one other thing too is Maven has other filters that are more unique. For instance, a couple companies make these, but this is a 10-stop CPL or circular polarizer. So it's a 10-stop, and the reason I know that without reading it, it's got the gold notches on here. The filter itself is blue to tell me it's a polarizer, and then it says the gold notches for golden hour, so that tells me it's a 10-stop. So that in itself makes it so much easier instead of having trying to see, oh, what do I have on here? And then I got to try. Now, they do have the writing on the inside, but if you're old like me, you got to wear glasses. If you can just look at them and see them, that makes life so much easier. So that's a 10-stop. Now, another thing that they make is that you don't see too much anymore is a linear polarizer. Linear. I'm going to do a whole video on polarizers actually, but linears were the norm back in the film days. However, when they came out with DSLRs, the way the light waves would go in and out, it would mess up your photos. And so the linear did not work. So then they came out with the circular polarizers. Linear is great because they work great on mirrorless cameras. You could still use the circular polarizer. I've done it and it works fine on the mirrorless. But the linear just gives you a little bit better. I think it gives you a better photo for mirrorless cameras. Now, the cool thing here, you may have heard me talk about variable ND filters. Well, let me tell you something. They really don't exist. Variable ND filters are actually two polarizers connected together, and then you rotate them to change the strength. And depending on how strong your polarizers are, will tell you if it's a 3 to a 5, a 5 to a 9, whatever the variable is, the ND. But what you do is you can take them, and you can see here, I'll put it right across my face here, and you see it getting brighter. And then now it's getting darker. Now you could do this with two linear polarizers. You could do it with a linear and a CPL, or you can do it with two CPLs. All right, it doesn't matter. Either way, that's what a variable ND filter is. Now again, the cool thing is that again, the color coding, they're both blue, but the linear is a darker blue, CPL is a lighter blue. So the linear, and again, these magnets are pretty strong here. Let me see. There we go. Woo! Tell you, see, that'll prove it right there. They're not falling off. But the CPL is a little bit, it's not as dark as a linear. So that's why they use the darker blue. Again, very, very intelligent about thinking about that. All right. Now this one right here is a magic gradient filter. All right. Now you would use this, let's just say you have a very high dynamic range scene, you got a sunset, but then when you adjust for the sky, now your foreground is getting too dark. So now you can get these in different strengths as well and darken up your sky, and then your foreground is a little bit brighter. So it's one way of doing that. This way you won't have to bracket your photos. You can do it all in one photo. Again, there's pluses and minuses to doing whatever, but this is one way of doing it. Usually you see the gradient filters with the square filters, the big ones, which are a pain in the butt to carry around. They're huge. They're like 100 millimeter or whatever they are. And then you got to carry them all around, and you got a bigger case, you got a bigger adapter. What a pain in the butt. These, I tell you, are so much better. That's most of the, quote, regular filters that I'm going to talk about right now. But real quick, I want to talk about the lens caps. Okay, I mentioned this lens cap right here. This is the first generation with the gray card. This is most likely going to be the one you're going to get with the standard kit. However, they came out with these now, and these people were saying that they couldn't get the filter off. They have nothing really to grab onto to get the lens cap off, and they're taking the filter off too. So they came out with these right here. This is the adapter ring, by the way. And these have a little ring on them right here. All right. And all you gotta do is pull it off. Let me see if I have, yeah, I got one right here. Okay, I can just take it, grab it, pull it right off. All right. Makes it a little bit easier to grab. Also, they gave you a little bit of a spot here. They narrowed it down so you can grab it from here too. Makes it just a little bit easier to grab. All right. But again, Maven's always thinking here. This ring comes off. And what you can do is you can put your logo in there. All right. Or if you want to get a sticker with the lens number, the size of the lens, you can put that on here too. But then you can just screw it right back on. Boom. And you're all set. All they need to do is put that 18% gray on here. These are probably the best lens caps I've ever seen. So great job there, Maven. Oop. Now the one thing, oh, another thing I want to show you here real quick. Okay, so you got your lens cap. They also have a rear lens cap or a filter cap. You wouldn't use this on your lens. This would be on your filters. It also has the 18% gray on it as well. So let's just say when I go out, I usually take a 3-stop. I'll take my 6-stop, I'll take my 10-stop, and I'll take my linear. All right. So I have this. Now I could just throw that in my pocket, but now I'm risking scratching up my filters here. So what I could do is take my lens cap, put it on the front like that, and I could take my rear lens cap, put it on the back. And now I can take this whole thing, throw it in my pocket. I don't even need a case, okay? And you can put as many of them on there as you need to, all right? Now, this is one of the cases that they have, which, look at the difference. I mean, yeah, this isn't that big. It's pretty small as far as cases go, but this is even smaller, all right? And the weight, less weight as well. Now, the one thing I don't like about both the case and like the rear lens cap here is this, the branding is just too big and gaudy. And they also have a QR code that goes to their website, which I think it's a smart idea, but I think we need to kind of find a way to subdue it a little bit. And my suggestion would be to use like a darker gold and just put it on there. And this way it's a little more stealthier. So you can see it, it's there, but it's not just like looking, blasting you in the face there. This one isn't bad. This looks like most camera lens caps, the logo. That's not too bad. This right here is a little bit more on the gaudy side, and you can tell it's done mostly for advertising. But, and also too, on the cases here, this isn't too bad, but they have it here in a nice blue color. Use that in a blue and kind of, again, make it stealthier. It can be seen, but not gaudy. And then they put the QR code on the back on this one. This isn't too bad, only because it's in the back, and you can either hang this with a carabiner, okay, on your backpack, or it's got a belt loop or a molly strap Velcro. You can put that on there. So you really won't see that too much. Now these cases, this is just one of the several of cases that they make. It's just like your normal accordion style case. The filters and lens caps, they fit right in there perfectly. But this should hold up to a 95. These are 82. It should hold up to a 95 at least. Put them in there. They hold 6 filters for the accordion style. All right. And then they also make another case here. I'm going to show you these in a minute. But this is another style case. This is a more traditional case. And again, this is much better. This is actually from their prototype. That's why it's all messed up there. But this holds 6 filters as well. The only thing I don't like about these is that the filters, they kind of slide out a little too easy. And yes, this is folded up and Velcroed, but I would like to have seen this out like a mesh that I would have to stretch it a little bit in order to get my filter. And I see where they're going on this though, because they can use this for different size filters. So if I had a 95 millimeter filter, it would be tight on here, but then I could still put an 82 in here and so on. So, but still, I would prefer it to be a little bit tighter. And also too, this is nice and thin. So if you like the thin style, they pouches for your filters. But I wish they would have put, like they did on here, so either the belt loop or molly, so you can attach it to your backpack, and also a carabiner hook, so you could hook it onto your tripod or to your backpack or whatever if you don't want to put it inside. So, but other than that, this really doesn't take up a lot of space anyway. You could fit this in between your core units on your in your backpack. Really, it won't take up much room at all. Talking about the innovation, this is coming out in their Wave 3, which I forgot to mention earlier. Currently, Maven is running a Kickstarter. This is, I believe, their 3rd Kickstarter. They had Wave 1, Wave 2, and now they're on Wave 3. Wave 2 filters are currently available on their website. You can buy them. Wave 3, you can only buy them right now. You can only buy them from their Kickstarter. I believe that's going from till September 19th, I believe. I'll post it down here on the screen here. But their Kickstarter, you get a huge discount on some of their newer filters, and you can also get some of their existing filters as well as gifts, depending on how much you pledge on your Kickstarter. I've never really done Kickstarters before. I don't know, I just never really felt comfortable with them, but that's me. Obviously, millions and millions of people do Kickstarters, so they're perfectly fine. It's just me, the way I buy. I'll pay a little bit more I'll buy it right from their store or whatever. But anyway, the other cool thing, again, Maven is just so innovative, and I tell you, they're coming out with some really cool ideas that many other companies either aren't working on, or they don't have the resources to be able to do it. Maven has come out with diopters. Now, a diopter is basically a magnifying glass for your lens. You would use these in place of a macro lens. You can use them with a macro lens too. But a macro lens, let's just say you're not, you want to get into macro photography, but I don't know, you just can't afford the lens. You don't know if you're really going to be interested in it or not after a while. This is a good way to get into them. They take high quality photos with these. A macro lens will definitely be the better route always, but these are great for, like I said, I only do macro photography a little bit here and there. And they're nice because I can carry them around in my filter pouch, and they don't take up a lot of room. My filter pouch is already in my bag, and it's only taking up that space. Whereas a macro lens is taking up a whole other section of my bag, where I could put something else in there or just keep the weight down. So these are really cool. So now they come up with two. They actually have three. I only have two of them. I'm hoping to get the third one. This one is a two-time, and the reason I know that is they have the little notches on the side here, and they got two silver ones, so that means 2x. This one is a 4x. It's got four notches on there. All right, and then they also have a 10x, a 10x. Okay, now the other cool thing you could do with these is you could take them, and if you take the smaller one and put the larger magnification over the top of it, they'll stick together because they're magnetic. Now I have a 6 times magnification. Again, ingenious. So I can start off with a 2, and let's just say that's not close enough. Now I got 6. Or let's just say the 4 wasn't close enough, and I don't have the 10, so I can't use the 10. Well, now I can just make at least a 6. Now, what these will do is they allow you to move your camera closer to your subject. Every lens has a maximum focal distance that it can focus. Most lenses, depending on what you are, like an average lens, I don't know, maybe 6 inches, actually probably more than that, almost a foot. Okay, you got to be away from your subject in order to be able to focus. Again, that depends on the lens. A zoom lens like the 70 to 200, I got to be farther away. So again, you're restricted on how close you can get. These will allow you to get closer to your subject, which allows you to do the macro style. And you can get even closer. Now, the keep in mind is that the closer you get, the blurrier the background, less is in focus. You're not going to be hand holding. Usually with something like this, you might be able to hand hold with the 2x. I probably wouldn't. I would use a tripod. But definitely with the 4 or the 10x, you are not hand holding and getting a good photo with that. If you do, you're extremely lucky. You're not good. You're lucky. Again, diopters, phenomenal. Now, to go along with these diopters, again, ingenious. If I turn this on, it's a ring light for your camera. Now, a lot of macro photographers use ring lights. However, the cool thing about this ring light is, let me try this one right here. It's magnetic, so I could take it on and off, okay? And to make it even cooler, I could take my diopters and I'll put them right on there. And now I got the ring light, and that's pretty bright right there. And I got the ring light right there, and I got the diopters on there as well. Now I'm going to turn it off so I don't, well, actually, I'm not going to turn it off just yet. But the other cool thing you could do is you can change the temperature. All right. So now it's a lot warmer. Then you can also go back to daylight. Now the other cool thing is this. Boom. I believe the name they call it is hemispheric. So a lot of times with macro photography, a ring light, it kind of flattens everything out with the lighting a little bit, which is good for some ways, but you're not going to get any dimension with your photos. But with this, you can have light just coming from the bottom or from the top. And then I can also, if I want to warm it up a little bit, I can warm it up just for that one, or I can go back to both. All right, and then turn it off like that. Again, the innovation is phenomenal. Now, two accessories that come with this. Again, I'm not sure if this is going to come with this or this is just because these are prototypes. The diopters I have, they're also prototypes as well. But this will slide on let me see, this way. And now you have your tripod mounts here. See if I can focus there. Here, and then another one on the bottom right there. Right there. And I believe this is probably just a 3D print, and they're either going to make something different or they're going to put the tripod mounts directly on here. But this has a built-in battery and there's a USB port. It comes with a USB cable as well. Now, another thing that this comes with is a clip. At least I think it comes with it. Let me double check. I'll put it on the screen. But it's basically a clip where you can put that on. I'll do this right here. I could screw this on here like that. And then now I can clip this and then the light would be on in there and I can clip this to whatever. If I'm out in the woods somewhere doing macro, I can clip it if I want to use it as an off-camera light as well. So that's actually really, really good idea as well. Let me see real quick here before I run out of time. They also sent me infrared filters. I love these. This is a 720 and this one here is the 830. I just got this one. This is a prototype. It's a screw-on. It's not magnetic, so I haven't had a chance to use this one yet. This one I've been using. You may have seen my photos that I posted on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook. But this is a 720 infrared and then also 820. Now, basically, the higher the number, usually less color. What infrared filters do is that they filter out visible light and they only allow infrared light to shine through. So the higher your number is less visible light. So you're most likely going to be doing only black and white. You convert them to black and white. When you get an image, it's going to look like this right here. It's going to look all red. And then you do some stuff in either Photoshop or Lightroom or whatever your editor is. You have to do a white balance. And then if you're going to do some color, you could do a color swap. If you don't want to do a color swap, then all you got to do is convert the black and white. And then that's pretty much it. And also do your white balance as well. You still got to do a white balance. But the 720 will allow you to do black and white, but also allow some color. So usually you'll see blue and white with a 720. Okay. Now you can also get like a 590 or a 530, and those allow a lot more color in, and those allow you to incorporate some of the pinks, some of the oranges, and you can really get some cool effects with your infrared photography. I tell you, I'm loving doing it on infrared. I do it. Now you do with these filters, you got to do longer exposures. You are not going to be hand holding your camera at all. You have to do these with on a tripod. Okay. You can get your camera converted to do it that way, but that's a little more money. And now you have a camera that's a one-trick pony. So infrared. And I am going to be doing a video on all of these, or pretty much all of these, not actually everything, but I'm going to do a couple more videos going into more detail about these filters here. So I have a link in the description. It's an affiliate link. I get a portion of the proceeds. The price is not any higher to you. It just helps out the channel. So if you buy with using that link, I will get a portion of the sale. That's it. There's no extra money. Again, they're not paying me for this video. This is my own opinions on these filters. So, again, you can take it with a grain of salt. After seeing my other video on gear influencers or scammers, I may have shot myself in the foot by making that video first. But anyway, yeah, I really do love these filters. I mean, I've been wanting to use these before I reached out to them. And I'll be quite honest with you, I did not think that they were going to send me any filters, let alone everything that you see here. So, Maven, Michael, thank you very, very much. Adam, their customer service, and I believe you're part owner or something. I'm not sure, but Adam has been phenomenal. He's probably going to be the guy if you need anything when you contact support. He'll be the guy to reply to you. And let me tell you, if they've done all this for me when I'm not even paying for this stuff, imagine what they're going to do for a paying customer. They have gone above and beyond for me. And, to me, that's a big thing. I'm willing to pay more for a product if the customer service is that good. Anyway, Maven, great job. Check out their Kickstarter. That link is going to be in the description below as well. Try them out. If you're having a problem, whatever, contact their support. Their support is great. They will help you out with everything. If you have any questions, comments, maybe put your favorite filter system that you use in the comments below. But anyway, until next time, take care, everyone.